Why?
I always wanted to do that.
Yes,
Okay, go ahead. And we're back.
Tommy Marcus. Is that your government name? Because
Thomas.
okay.
But
I don't want to like dox you immediately.
when I was in kindergarten, they started calling me Thomas the Tank Engine, and I was offended.
You're like,
So I came in the next day and I was like, "My name's Tommy now."
name's
Never,
Tommy.
never changed since then.
We got an intro for you. So Tommy Marcus started the Instagram account Quentyn Quarantino in March 2020 and soon realized he wanted to use his power and influence to help people around the world. He's raised tens of millions of dollars for charity, including most recently $2.1 million for Gaza, which went to feeding mothers and children in Gaza at the height of the genocide and providing medical care for critically injured children evacuated to Jordan and Egypt. He spent 6 days being tortured in Israeli prison, specifically because of his Jewish heritage, after attempting to break Israel's illegal siege as part of the global Samood Flotilla. Everyone welcome Tommy Marcus.
Thanks so much for having me here. It's a pleasure.
Welcome.
So why Quentyn Quarantino?
Well, first day of the New York shutdown.
Yeah.
When the pandemic hit. And
So
we
you
closed
were
down.
in New York.
Yeah, I was already. The best way I could describe my work before that was a meme lord. I had a meme page, and
Yeah.
I had like
Let's
a big
go.
corporate sponsor that I quit my job for a couple years back, and that sponsor at the beginning of the pandemic like stopped their whole influencer strategy. So I was kind of screwed. I was like, did I make a huge mistake quitting
Yeah.
my accounting job a couple years ago? And then as the pandemic reached the US and some people that I knew got sick, I started Quentyn Quarantino as just kind of a way to an outlet for both humor and the anxiety of the moment.
And for those who don't understand, like Quarantino
like,
is like a quarantine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Okay. Yeah.
it's a play on words.
Yeah.
So
So it's not your real name.
no,
Yes.
no, and you know the funny thing is that I do like Tarantino movies, but
Yeah.
he's not even my favorite director. I
Yeah.
just it was the perfect pun for that day.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, I was able to build a lot off of those early weeks where I wasn't doing political activism, and then turn it into what it is now, which is like the highest raising vehicle on social media ever for charity.
Amazing.
And I'd like to think that I have a lot of impact outside of the.
So you have no
dollars
idea
charity.
what your decision to make that during like COVID would lead you to this today?
No,
Yeah.
no. My entire 6-year story of Quentyn Quarantino is just like completely serendipitous.
Yeah.
Waking up every morning, not knowing
Yeah.
what I'm gonna do, and I love that. Like
Yeah.
it's a freedom that I really don't take for granted.
Right.
And because I have that freedom, I adapt to things going on in the world, and when I see something that's not right or something that I know I can make a difference on if I use my voice that people listen to,
Yeah.
I'm able to do that. I'm able to drop everything and do that, and it's a huge blessing.
All right. We're gonna shout out our sponsor and partner, Watermelon Pictures.
What up? Watermelon Pictures.
Yeah. It's like a 3-year in the making collaboration. Hamza, Badia, Jenna, Nabil, and the whole team they're all over the like international that I'm interacting with. So they're like a great partner to have. We're super stoked to be doing our first episode here with Tommy, and we just want you guys to go to Watermelon Plus and subscribe, because you're going to see this episode on there and so many things that is basically like anytime any of these other streaming services don't pick up a movie, guess where it's going? Watermelon Plus. So it's really the most independent and like best place for our community to watch our stuff. So
Well, congratulations, guys.
Appreciate
I've been following the podcast for a while. It's an honor to be on it, and I've also watched you guys rise as time has gone on, and it's really cool and honestly makes you feel good to think that a podcast like this has the opportunity to grow the way it has.
And this is the first episode that's going to be on Watermelon Plus.
Watermelon Plus.
Shout out Watermelon Plus.
yeah, if we didn't say it, Watermelon Plus.
Yeah, go get Watermelon Plus. Subscribe to Watermelon Plus right now. Look at this cool hat.
Look at this hat.
And then Watermelon Pictures has 3 movies that were shortlisted,
Yeah.
and now they got another movie nominated for an Oscar. So it's the big leagues. It's
Yeah.
the big leagues.
Yeah, we're still waiting to see if the voice of Hind Rajab is going to win the Oscar. So crossing our fingers. They're Watermelon Pictures executive producing that one. So
I went to an early screening
Yeah.
of the Hind movie, and
What'd you think?
because I cover the news so much, I always say that I'm like really desensitized to death and to seeing, from the past couple of years of just turning on my feet every day and seeing dead children. It's sad, but you get a little desensitized to it if you're looking at it all day. So I didn't expect, being so familiar with Hind's story, I was very excited for the movie. I didn't expect that I would cry too much. I am a crier, so I knew I would cry a little bit.
Yeah.
Within 3 minutes of the movie starting, I was crying, and then I cried through the entire movie, and I think it is genuinely one of the most moving pieces of art ever made, and I'm trying my best to like encourage my whole audience to watch it, and I was so happy to see that it got the Oscar nomination.
I'm hoping all the 3 that Atif mentioned are going to be having their theatrical releases post Oscars and possibly even on streaming services, like specifically Watermelon Plus. So there's really no excuse to not watch it in the future for sure. So
and growing up in a Jewish community where I probably watched the Schindler's List by the time I was 8 years old, and of an incredibly important movie. And I think we're just reaching this point now where there's starting to be these types of films similar to the types of films that came out of the Holocaust about the Gaza genocide.
100%.
And it's incredibly important, especially to reach the average American and international person who might not care too much about, like, they know what's going on is bad, but they have other things going on in their life. Film and art in general is definitely a way to
100%.
reach people
in a good way and a bad way, right?
Oh yeah.
We've had the bad, and now we're undoing decades and decades of this propaganda against us and this is a really, really good way of doing that, to change the hearts and minds and get people to really see the truth. So so we can't say enough praise for Watermelon Pictures and Watermelon Plus, but let's get back to Quentin Quarantino.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Sure. We have Quentin Tarantino, the acclaimed director. I didn't think you'd look so young. How are you doing today?
Well, I think you may have had your research ill-prepared. I am actually not a movie director. Maybe one day.
Artiste, whatever, auteur, whatever you want to call it. I know you guys are.
I had to leave my wife back in Tel Aviv to come in for this interview. But
I was gonna say, I saw that you just bought a house in Tel Aviv. How have you felt? Didn't you?
Quentin Tarantino, the movie director.
Yeah, I don't know why you're talking in third person, but
Quentin, like Israel.
Yeah, well, I watched Pulp Fiction like 10 times preparing for this, and I was gonna bring a Royale with cheese, but I was gonna ask you, why do you like putting the N-word so much in your movies, and do you have to be the one saying it many of the times?
Wait, N-word? Like Nakba?
No, like
no, I don't think Tarantino says the word Nakba very much.
Oh, there's other N-words. I didn't. Yeah.
So it's just like a personal preference, or?
Well, I think the feet are more of a.
I was gonna say I have a whole section about feet. I was gonna say Salma Hayek's feet, Margot Robbie's feet. What's your favorite pair of feet?
Just thinking about the history of those movies, you'd have to go with Salma Hayek because Tarantino wrote into the script a scene where she rubs her feet all over his face.
That is very spiritually Israeli. That's
very he embodies Israel very well, I would say.
Why are you saying he? Because are you speaking in third person? Is this like a movie director type of thing?
I've been Quentin Quarantino for 6 years, and
why are you saying it like that?
Have you gotten a cease and desist from him?
No, there was a podcast interview a few years ago that he did where he was asked about me, and
for real?
and I had just started to raise a lot of money for charity, gotten pretty prominent, and the podcaster Neil Pasricha mentioned that I have a Pulp Fiction tattoo, and Quentin's response was, that guy has a license to do things with my work that other people don't have. So I have taken that as legally binding. I haven't spoken to a lawyer to find out if that is actually legally binding.
So
But
wait, he said so. He basically admitted that you can do.
This
That's
is
a
not
spitting
you?
image. Dude. That's
there's a little, I don't know.
bald spot.
I could
Maybe.
see like
I'm glad you went to Turkey to get more hair. I'm glad.
I mean, it's a
Yeah.
short trip
Yeah.
from the Vive.
Yeah.
Tell me, have you been hanging around Jeffrey Epstein at all?
I met him when I was 17 once at a New Year's Eve party because I grew up with a bunch of billionaires, and I was like the poor kid at a private school, and unfortunately, a family that I knew did know Jeffrey Epstein, and I had the displeasure of meeting him once and shaking his hand. I had no choice but to shake his hand.
Wow,
But
this is
to
going
give you
very quickly.
to give you an idea on my background before
Yeah.
we get into transitioning from Zionism. I was,
Wait, so you're
surrounded
not
by-
Quentin Tarantino?
I'm.
I said, what is this? Did you send me a?
I got Quentin Tarantino from Temu.
Oh,
The other one wasn't available, so we have to
you're
stand
just
it.
like a.
I just posted Instagram.
You're just like an impersonator.
Yeah. Like on Hollywood Boulevard, you have impersonators.
So he likes feet. What's your thing? Just kidding. All right. So what's your real name?
Tommy,
Tommy. And you grew up where?
New Jersey.
Tommy from New Jersey.
Hey, don't
What am I gonna do with all these feet questions?
delete. Scrap 'em.
A lot of people who do think I'm Tarantino send me pictures of their feet. It's very uncomfortable. So
Oh, you get.
if that's your thing.
We
I
have
could-
a whole
I could
section
set you
called
up.
"Guess the Feet" that I was gonna do.
Yo, those should be redacted, bro. Those should be censored.
Oh, so redacted.
Yeah. So yeah. Again, speaking of redacted,
Before the Quentin Tarantino,
Yeah.
Tommy growing up in
17-year-old in New Jersey.
To give you an idea of where I grew up, Tenafly, New Jersey, they just renamed a street after one of the IDF prisoners that was taken on October 7th, who was released by Hamas, then came back to my town, was honored like a hero, met with Donald Trump, and then announced that he was returning to Israel to go. He was, he missed the genocide, so he went back to rejoin the IDF and go fight there. I don't believe that there's ever going to be a street named after me there. In fact, many people that I grew up with enjoy telling me that I'm no longer welcome in my town, and I believe them.
really.
Yeah, if you walk around my town in the main area, in the main like town square, every single restaurant, nail salon, doesn't matter who owns it, it has a "We Support Israel" sign in it. So that's like the background of my life. Everyone that I've ever known until a few years ago, everyone that I've ever surrounded myself with was a passionate Zionist. Like Zionism was the number one political issue of everyone that I ever respected.
And do you know why that was the number one thing?
It sucks to say, but in a lot of Jewish culture, which I was a part of and am a part of, you're taught that, you're taught about World War II, you're taught about the Holocaust, and then you're told if you don't want this to happen again, you have to support Israel. So,
And I mean, it includes everything that they do, or
correct.
it has
So,
to?
like, if you had asked 2020 Tommy what I think about Israel, I wouldn't have been like, it's amazing. Like, I knew they did bad shit,
Yeah.
but it was always like explained away to me by people that I considered very intelligent and empathetic as like, yeah, you just don't you don't get what goes on there. Like there's certain
It's
necessary
complicated.
evils of this complicated thing, and I bought that, and I'm a trusting person. I didn't look too far, too much further
Were the
into it.
answers were the answers believable at least?
They're believable if you don't look deeply at all and pre-genocide, I would say.
So
Like I wasn't in a place where I was quite like the people that I'm talking about are intelligent, wealthy people who also were really nice to me when I was young, and so I had no reason to be like, okay, the same thing that every single person that I know says is like not only not true, but like one of the most harmful lies in the history of the world. Like
was there any like criticism of Israel at all, or
no. I mean, I can remember in middle school, my best friend in middle school wore this IDF shirt, actually the same shirt that has recently appeared in the Epstein files. That
Oh,
Jeffrey
yeah.
Epstein, same as I was like, I know that shirt. My
Same-
best friend
same-
wear that to
It's
school.
it's
Same-
actually the same.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
same cut and everything.
Oh,
Same-
like,
God.
yeah,
Faded.
yeah.
But like
couple stains.
I remember in middle school thinking that shirt was like badass
Mm.
and wanting it. Like I thought it was cool. Like what did I know about the IDF? I knew that they were quote unquote like protecting the Jews, and I knew that there were hot soldiers. Like that is the propaganda that they feed young men in areas like mine. Like yeah, have you looked at the IDF
The girls.
female soldiers and how beautiful they are?
Psyops.
Yeah. I've since realized that
Yeah.
no matter how attractive you are on the outside as a Zionist, I would rather die than date you.
Yeah.
So why didn't you join the IDF?
Oh, it's interesting. I mean, people from my town absolutely did join the IDF. I wanted to go to university. I've never been a fan of war, so it was never even.
Yeah.
I did apply to go on Birthright when I was a junior in college.
Okay. How was that?
Along with my Chinese friend, who I helped write like a totally
Yeah.
bullshit like
You know that Israel invented China.
yeah,
so-
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
we
what?
both got approved for the trip, and then I was so broke in college that I realized like I know the trip is free, but I have like $40 in my checking account. I can't like go to the Middle East.
Yeah.
So that's the only thank
So
God.
he went without you?
Alhamdulillah. I did not
Wait,
make
you
it.
didn't go because you were broke, like
I
too
couldn't.
broke
I
to
didn't
go
go
on
on the
birth?
free trip.
What
because I
about
was too
free?
broke. It wasn't a moral thing. It was strictly
You said again. So you were too broke to go on birthright.
yes.
That's
I don't get it. You got to pay his taxes or something?
that's so
Like,
funny.
So it's like, what if I have to like
free.
buy a meal or something?
Yeah.
You know?
That's
That's
funny.
funny. Did the Chinese guy go?
No,
Oh.
he was specifically interested in coming with me.
Yeah,
He had
yeah.
no passion about Israel. I was just like,
Could
yo,
you-
dude,
so-
free trip. And that, I mean, that's how they get people.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like the friends that my former friends, like a lot of them, I think they're like built on top of the layers that I just said about like how we're raised and what we're taught about Zionism. Then they go to Israel when they're like 18 or 19 years old. They have this really fun, like Birthright's been described to me many times. It's this
Just a
really
party.
like, fun party where you're going around Israel, only seeing the best of the best, not acknowledging what's going on just across the wall, not acknowledging that it's an apartheid state. And
They don't tell you that when you get there?
no. In fact, they say it's the only democratic nation in the Middle East and all that
So
bullshit.
where do you see the apartheid? Across the wall?
I mean, you can see apartheid in every single part of Israeli society, especially West Bank.
Okay,
Just
but they're hiding it the whole trip.
Yeah, especially when you're a dumb 18-year-old kid thinking about like, I wonder if I'm gonna get laid by an IDF soldier
Mm.
that I saw on Instagram. Like, I don't think those kids are necessarily like, let's play spot the apartheid. You know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So when was there ever like a crack in your like belief that everything they do is good, or you know?
It's embarrassing.
So no matter
question.
what.
Embarrassing question that I will answer very truthfully. After the day after October 7th, you know, I was already a very established activist. I'd done stuff for lots of Muslim people. I'd done a lot for Afghans. Day after October 7th, I made a post that was reposted by the official account of Israel. Like, and even then, I knew that it. Like, I was like, ugh. Like, I didn't like it, but it wasn't like.
What was it? Like
It was some bullshit about like you know, the whole world is protesting for the other side after seeing Jews dragged in the street. You know, the classic cop out about October 7th, and it was a warning sign to me when Israel reposted. I was like, damn, because I always fashioned myself to be like neutral,
Mm-hmm.
which doesn't exist in something like this,
It really
and it took
doesn't.
me a while to realize that.
Wait, so they reposted? They're saying it was a good post that you
No,
posted?
they
loved your. They liked
I
your
was
post.
followed by Stop Anti-Semitism,
Yeah.
like all of those evil Zionists liked me at one point.
And this was from the Quentyn
Yeah,
account.
yeah, and like I'm aside from that,
So
my whole account is progressive politics.
Yeah.
And I would always tell people before October 7th, like, man, I hope nothing happens with Palestine, because like at that point I still thought that it had to do with like terrorism and Jew hatred. So I was like, if something happens to Palestine, I'm not doing the Free Palestine stuff. So
Yeah.
I remember when October 7th happened, I was kind of like, oh, this is bad.
So the state of Israel reposting a post of yours is your turning point from going from Zionist to anti-Zionist.
I wish.
Oh,
It was longer than that.
okay.
I had to.
Or like it sent you down. That was like the beginning.
Yes,
part.
like
Yeah.
okay.
So what happened after that?
I sent a message to my closest Palestinian friend. I remember the day after that being like, I know that we like see this situation a little differently. I hope we can remain friends.
Mm-hmm.
In hindsight, like the stuff that I was saying was like incredibly offensive, and they just kind of were very patient about that, which was
When did you were able
like
to?
because me now, if someone was saying the stuff that I was saying to my Palestinian friend in 2023, I would be like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
So, but that that patience, which I also saw with my friend Alana Hadid and a couple others, people who are really passionate about Palestine, like that's ultimately one of the big factors in how I was able to become open-minded and eventually admit, like on a public stage, like I handled this so fucking wrong, and I didn't know, like I didn't know. So
What were the things that like? Did it open a discussion from there? Like you saying, "Oh, we believe two different things, but like you're Palestinian and you're still my friend." At least that channel is still open, and was that how you were communicating?
yeah, like I was never an asshole Zionist. Like I was interested in hearing the other perspective, but then also I would start to shut down when I misinterpreted something as like anti-Semitic, which is the big kind of failure of all Zionists right now is the interpretation that anything about Palestine has to do with anti-Semitism,
Right. Or using it as like a card up your sleeve.
Exactly.
Or you just label everything. You say anything about Israel, it's anti-Semitic.
Exactly.
Right.
So, to be honest, in 2024, I had decided that it was a genocide, but I knew that there are a few factors that were keeping me from speaking out. I wasn't posting like pro-Israel stuff. I was just like not covering it, which felt very dirty inside. Like it did not feel good. I knew it had to change, but the election was coming up. I was and still am extremely passionate about Donald Trump not being our president. And I kind of made the miscalculation that it would be better if I just focused on trying to help Kamala win. Which again, I say this now like kind of in shame, but it's just the truth. And it's what I thought was right at the time. And so the real big turning point for me was when she lost, and I started to look at internal data on why she lost, and reopen conversations with Palestinians who had previously like been upset with me, like Alana Hadid, Janan Matari, like basically come in and be like, I was wrong. I'm realizing I was wrong. I've been seeing exploded children for like I'm starting to feel this on my soul at every minute.
Yeah.
Like it was for the couple months where I just like fully knew that I was doing the wrong thing and wasn't changing anything. Like it was eating me alive. Like I am the most effective fundraiser of any Instagrammer ever, and I knew that if I just like stood up and said stuff that I could raise millions of dollars for Gaza. So it, I felt like I was actively assisting Israel in their genocide.
I mean, you mentioned it. You were literally in a circle that was, shoulder to shoulder with the Epstein types, right?
Yeah.
You grew up relatively poor compared to the billionaires that were around you. Your entire bubble that you lived in was, I mean, we got to call a spade a spade. It was just brainwashing, right? So what you felt to me is you're ripping apart your entire reality.
Well, yes, that's that. I mean, that was the biggest thing is that in the weeks leading up to me, like finally going like all out on Palestine, I was like, well, I am committing financial, social, and professional suicide by doing this. I had built up a really big network of like centrist Democrats, simply because at the time I thought they were fine, but like, that my whole professional world was toast the second I
Yeah.
started talking about Palestine. My incomes were toast. My friendships, my lifelong friendships with everyone that I knew was just instantly over. And I knew that would happen. So it took a while to honestly like have the courage to just light everything on fire. But there is not
you said that back then. What do you feel that way now?
You know, I've made so many new friends.
Yeah.
So the social suicide, I don't necessarily agree with. There's been some like hurtful things along the way of people that like I was surprised ended our friendship or disinvited me from a wedding, stuff like that.
But isn't that it's just a filter anyway?
Yeah,
They were never really your
exactly. And you know, now I won't lie, like a lot of my friends are Palestinian and I love it. I think Palestinians are some of the coolest
So now
people I've ever
instead
met.
of saying social suicide or any kind of suicide, it's a rebirth.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
And then, you know, between that and the people that I spent a month with on the Flotilla.
Right. We should definitely talk about that.
And like, so I feel like I have like this whole new network and I don't like lose sleep over that.
Yeah.
Financially I've been accurate on that. I did lose like all of my income streams, but so it's like not great, you know.
I'm not gonna lie.
But it always cracks me up when
but the heart is pure.
Zionists really fucking hate me, like specifically.
They're not trying to let you
they hate
anything out.
I think they really
and they all think I'm like being paid by Qatar or you know whatever, and it's like like please Doha, like please give me some money.
Okay, guys, I want you to go to visit.qatar.com. Please, guys, we'll give you some free promo. We gave watermelon. We love watermelon pictures.
Yeah. I mean, if you got that Tucker money, let me know.
But listen, I will tell you something.
So there is no Qatar money, basically.
There's no.
This is all from the heart.
Money, and it's proven is on the Zionist side. Like it's very transparent that that's the case. But you tell a Zionist that, they'll yell at you about fake news or whatever.
I mean, they accuse you, and then it's a confession.
Yeah,
right?
But I would like to say on the professional and financial point, I think that. Hold on. I was getting away with not talking about Palestine. I have really dedicated fans. I did have, you know, Palestinians and Arabs and Muslims in the beginning reaching out like, I'm really disappointed, I'm unfollowing you, but not too many. And ultimately, like, from a professional standpoint, it was fine. Like, nothing was harming my work by not speaking out about Palestine. I don't think anyone listening to this would be surprised by that.
Yeah.
But
and this is when this is right after October 7th, or
no, like last year, like
okay.
leading up to the Kamala election.
Okay.
So, but like my theory right now, when I like try to talk myself out about freaking out about money or work and stuff like that, is like I think that a lot of the people who were in my shoes, in the very same shoes last year, and didn't make this transition, that the clock is ticking on how long their careers are going to last, because one day it is going to be popular opinion that anyone who didn't open their mouth and yell as loud as they could about this genocide that our country is funding and encouraging and applauding, I think they will experience that death of career and financial squalor.
Genocide deniers.
And I think one day I'll be fine. So I try to look at it from a long-term view and not think about rent.
You think it'll be like the Holocaust deniers, genocide deniers?
Yeah. And, you know, the funny thing is like, you know, I fully advocate for a Nuremberg type trial one day.
The Gaza trials.
I think that I should have, like, I think there should be a Tommy Marcus Nuremberg trial. I just think, like, I'll get up there and be like, okay, you clearly, like, you're good. Like, you did it. But, like, I do think anyone who demonstrated any complicity at any point with a very powerful platform needs to be, judged.
Yeah. I mean, do we want that? But we see they literally released millions of files, right? And there's people admitting to doing the most heinous shit imaginable, and nobody's doing anything about it.
Yeah.
So I think again, we want that to happen. And actually, if you really think about it, the Nuremberg trials were largely a failure.
Yeah.
They only like prosecuted a couple of people. So yeah, we definitely have to learn from that mistake. I mean, America hired former Nazis.
Yeah.
For like NASA and like they're like, wait, we shouldn't kill these guys.
He's
should
a
use
Nazi,
them.
but he's talented.
Yeah, he's smart, so we should use him. But yeah, so Yeah, the fact that people aren't getting dragged into the streets and like French Revolution style, taken care of, is pretty much insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely want the Gaza trials to
Yeah.
occur, but I think we have to. There's a elephant in the room that hasn't been
It's hard to
discussed yet.
even think about it while, the average person in Gaza is sitting in a tent right now, in rubble. So
Yeah,
with, the Board of Peace expanding and
Court of Peace.
yeah, I don't even like
It,
saying that out loud, but it is the phrase.
they literally posted it. Israel has joined the Board of Peace.
Yep.
Like Epstein joined the school board or something.
He did that actually.
Yeah.
That was his first job. He was
Yeah.
a teacher.
And-
I wanted to talk about genocide. How hard was it for you to use that word?
It was literally one of the biggest reasons that I felt uncomfortable talking about the genocide is the
Because once you call it a genocide, it's bad.
yeah, and I remember my closest social media partner, really well educated Jewish Zionist. I remember, like, he's really smart, so I would kind of lean on him for opinions on something that, like, his grandma was in Auschwitz. Like, I after October 7th, I really wanted to know what he thought. And, he was very like, I'm against the war, but when they call it genocide, it's like tarnishing what happened to my family and stuff like that. And that got me for a little bit until I just continued watching Israel slaughter with reckless abandon children, journalists, just anyone in their way.
Right.
Anyone, or not even in their way, just anyone that they get bored,
Everyone.
snipe a kid in the skull.
Yeah.
So I don't know what other word to use, but I'll be honest. Like, when I first started using it, it made me feel something inside I didn't feel good about it. Even though I knew what I was saying was true, because I had a large Zionist following, and so, like, I can remember probably 14 months ago, something like that. A longtime follower messaged me. I've been, like, rampage posting about the genocide and how much I hate Israel, and someone's like, I've been following you since 2020. I'm an ICU nurse in Long Island. I'm sitting in the hospital staff room right now with 3 of my coworkers. We're all Jewish, and we're all crying together about how you've become an anti-Semite. And it was just like how can you think this about me, especially if you've been following me for so long? Like, I just, like, what I'm saying is that I think killing children is bad. Like, it's kind of, it goes back to
craziest
the,
thing is, like,
Ms. Rachel paradox.
if you
it's
if
like,
you think that's anti-Semitic, then
I was
what does
gonna
that mean
say,
about
calling it a genocide
Zionists?
is anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Because what?
Because Zionists,
because they decided it
mental
is,
gymnastics.
and what's interesting is, like, I talked about my content in 2023 to you guys right after October 7th. I was getting messages from Israelis and Zionists yelling at me for the language I was using, which was, in hindsight, completely like Israeli Zionism apology tour that I was doing.
What?
But like, I would open my messages like, Tommy, you don't get it, like, because I was being like, I was really, I felt like I was on the back of my heels, right? So, like, I'd make a statement like, October 7th was terrible, and of course also a bunch of Palestinians are going to die now, the classic language of, like, all the murders, and then the Palestinians die. And
that's bad.
And so like, if I even mentioned that the fact that there may be incoming deaths in Gaza, I would get 5-paragraph messages about how wrong I am and how I don't understand the whole concept of human shields and all that bullshit.
So was that the human shields was the thing, like, with all the videos of the dead babies and such? Is that the explanation that you and they had at that point?
I basically had no explanation.
Okay.
I was like,
but
just,
they were looking at those videos and being like, this is human
that and Pallywood, like,
it's all fake.
Yeah, it's just like, you don't get it. Like, Hamas, like, sets up these scenes, and it's the most ridiculous thing ever, especially when we've seen it go on for 2 years. And, like, now at this point in my journey, like, I talk to a lot of people in Gaza and collaborate with them, and even collaborate with children, which is like the saddest thing ever. But they really want it, and it helps spread the message. But
For like GoFundMe's and stuff.
yeah, but like, you know, I can personally say, just on my own, I have confirmed that everything is real. So it's just like it's so hard to communicate with Zionists because you can't break that barrier.
But don't you think like communication is important, or
Yes.
and like when you say, oh, all the people that you grew up with probably don't talk to you or unfollowed you or muted you, but like I'm sure there's some percentage that is looking at you closely, watching, and maybe kind of like starting.
They're all looking at me closely.
Yeah.
No, but I mean like kind of maybe agreeing with you in some form or fashion and can't say it at all. Or
if
don't you think that like it's
don't.
important to communicate and convince them?
2
Or
years.
not?
Oh, I try all the time.
Okay.
I try. I was speaking to my Jewish
Because I don't want
Zionist
to
friend.
be like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a lost cause. They support the
No.
other. I can't bring them in
No,
on
there
the
are people
humanity of
that
the situation, at least.
Exactly.
You know?
There are people that I've loved my whole life who don't like me anymore, and can't say I really like them, but like I try every night. Like I'll reach. Like I was talking to a Jewish Zionist friend yesterday. Like, dude, can I send you this book? I want to send him the 100 Years War on Palestine, and we went back and forth a little bit, and he's just like, look, like we just don't see the world the same way. Like I think you've been brainwashed by terrorists, so it's pretty hard to push through that, and that's why
At this point,
like,
if you are still on that side, you're not gonna.
Yeah.
Like, there's no like on the fence anymore.
Exactly.
At least.
Well, I would say there's some people probably that are like,
No.
have eyes and be like, hey, listen, what they're doing is like they went too far, or that it's bad, or someone has some sort of like humanity, like, you know, seeing Miss Rachel be attacked.
That's the common thing,
right?
It's
I would
obviously
think.
bad, but there's no but. There's no but.
Interesting.
So I'm not willing to hear out the buts. But I will tell you, for most of 2025, my goal was to change people's minds, and it was successful. I used myself as an example. It was super embarrassing. I was just like, look, I was a brainwashed idiot. I didn't realize. I'm so sorry. I didn't expect the Palestine community to accept my apology. They did, and it was one of the most moving things of my life when I first started to not hold anything back about Free Palestine.
Yeah.
And
when's the first time you said Free Palestine? How did that
answer to say not for a
No?
podcast? No,
Right,
I was like,
cut that
actually,
out.
yeah. Nope.
That's going on the Patreon. That's going on the for the exclusive content. Yeah.
But wouldn't you agree that if you, with the knowledge and the research that you did, you were able to kind of change your mind? So, you know, you think that other people will be able to do that?
No, because you know, you have to have a willingness to that every other person you know is not going to be your friend anymore. Like last month, I found out through Instagram that my best friend from age 7 on was having his wedding that weekend. And if it was like 2 years ago, I would have been mad if I wasn't his best man. I would have been offended. He's not even Jewish. And I was not invited to the wedding because apparently my presence would make guests feel uncomfortable. That definitely hurt a lot. But yeah.
Do you feel like going on the Samood Flotilla was an act of repentance?
For me, going on the Flotilla was a huge act of repentance, not just because my content had been complicit in the genocide, but also stretching back decades and even basically a century. My ancestors are partially responsible for creating Israel. My great uncle, Henry Cabot Lodge Sr., passed the first resolution in Congress to create a mandate for a Zionist state in Palestine.
Congress in the U.S.
Yes.
Wow.
So between my complicity and between growing up amongst billionaire Zionists, I felt like even though over the summer I had raised $2 million for Gaza, I had changed a lot of people's minds. I had done objectively like the most I could do to that point. I still felt like it wasn't enough. Like I think everyone in this community feels that all the time. It's like you do something and it's just it's still so bad.
And then the idea to go on the flotilla came up?
It wasn't even an idea. I got a phone call saying, Tommy, do you want to go on the flotilla? You would have to leave for Barcelona in like 6 hours. And I was just like, yes, absolutely. No second thought. And that is one of the best decisions I've ever made, in my opinion. I really felt like I was able to do something there. And it was, yeah, like you said, repentance, truly.
And it was from Barcelona all the way
to Gaza. Yeah, with a couple pit stops when we would get bombed by Israel.
You guys got bombed?
Yeah,
Drones?
We were drone struck twice in Tunisia, which immediately the Zionist media said was not a drone strike. First, they said it was a flying cigarette, and then when video came out, they said we shot a flare at ourselves.
Oh, really?
And then
when cigarettes fly, I'll believe that story.
And a month later,
the camera and the footage came out, right?
Way better. In early October, the United States government made a statement that Benjamin Netanyahu ordered our boats to be drone struck in Tunisia. And then a week later,
they like roll the red carpet out for him by the time it comes here.
And a week later, we're in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, and the fleet of boats are kind of spread out. And our comms go down, and we start hearing explosions. We had drone. At this point, all of us are staying up through the night. 4 people at all times looking at the sky for drones. And then the drone strikes started happening. I think it was 14 strikes on 10 boats.
Wow.
So that was definitely one of the scarier nights of my life. Like, I had to...
You were getting bombed.
We knew it was going to happen, too. Like, they had just started saying, like, calling us the Hamas Flotilla and stuff like that, which was absurd, but whatever. But, like, the day of those bombings, I had written a will, had a friend in the U.S. Get it verified. I, put out a video trying to make my audience know that, like, we might die. And I think
because of the threats, they were saying, "Hey, we're gonna bomb you."
Yeah, and internally, we had a pretty good idea that we were in harm's way.
That day.
And then you eventually, as you said we said in the intro, you got basically abducted by them and then tortured in their prisons for 6 days.
Yeah.
So how close did you get?
42 nautical miles.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we were almost there, and
was this
as they were chasing us and really failing to capture our boat, specifically the Owaila, my main boat was sabotaged, quite frankly, and broke, and that's not new. That's not public news, so you guys can have that.
Exclusive on Watermelon
Habibi House exclusive. The family boat was sabotaged. I swear on my life. Anyway, our boat. The Israelis were having like a really difficult time capturing us, and so we really did think we were gonna make it, and that was the best. Like I wish we could have.
Yeah, I mean the flotilla should be happening on a much larger scale.
Well, it is,
and it's
end of March, double the size.
So there will hopefully one.
We're going Captain Ahab in this bitch. If you guys did your high school reading, you'd know who that is. You almost made it to Gaza, then you got abducted into Israeli prison.
They took you to jail?
Well, they first took us to a port. It was like a 10 from abduction to reaching wherever the port that we took. I'm forgetting the name of it. They then like put us all in the prisoner position for like 5 hours, and then grabbed me and my friend David Adler, who's also Jewish. Asked us if we were Jewish. Said yes. Then they took us to the back where they had Greta Thunberg.
Greta was there?
Draped in an Israeli flag.
Damn.
And they made us like essentially like worship the Israeli flag, and then like just the idea
of that's not anti-Semitic, guys.
Yeah. No, and then they dragged David and I out, the two Jews, and we're like, what the fuck is happening? Like, why are they, what is going on? And when we're dragged out, first we're like, are they just gonna like kill everyone else and just spare the two Jews? And then we see Ben-Gvir coming, surrounded by his IDF soldiers, like coming to yell at everyone. And for whatever reason, for the photo op, they had decided to like get rid of David and I. I guess they didn't want Jewish people in the picture. And then they had us have like a private moment with Ben-Gvir where he yelled at us, called us terrorists. David actually spit on him. I wish I did. I
You
should
were
just start lying.
dehydrated. You were dehydrated.
Yeah, I was really dehydrated. No.
They didn't give you any water.
You know, and then they were like physically beating us, and then took us to Guantanamo Bay type internment camp where we genuinely were disappeared for 3 days. Like the people who were trying to get information on us, there was no information on where we were, what had happened to us. The press wasn't covering it.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
in prison, we were getting no information except from what the guards told us. So
Wow.
I wasn't able to see a lawyer for 3 days. I wasn't given medicine like prescription medicine, as well as many other people who had like much more like life-threatening prescription medicine that they needed. It was like they genuinely tortured us. They didn't give us food, like the whole nine. And
American.
I say that stuff online, and I still get like 50 responses from Zionists of like, it's so gross how you lie about this. And it's like, man, I wish ask Israel to release the tapes. You know,
Redact.
We had a Flotilla member recently came forward and said she was raped by an IDF soldier when we were being processed into jail. And there's a lot of other intense physical violence that I don't want to speak on myself, but I can tell you as a matter of fact that you know what you hear about IDF soldiers being very rape centric is not really an exaggeration.
Yeah.
I have a question. So you said that you weren't in the picture, so that like being an anti-Zionist Jew, do you think that you are their worst enemy?
Apparently, because we got treated the worst. We were told that we were long-term prisoners. So, like, by the fourth day, most people had been released from. Like, it went from being like this big filled cell lot to, you know, maybe 5 to 10% of the people left, mostly from Arab countries and the United States. So David and I specifically, we weren't in the same cell. They had purposely, like, they knew who I was. They were calling me Tommy instead of my legal name, Thomas. Like, they put me in a cell with nobody who speaks English. I think I was in what they called the Hamas cell, which is kind of funny. But like my only way of like communication was like every 3 or 4 hours I would yell like, David, are you still there? Because I was so worried that like if he got out, then it's just like it would just be me. And until the moment they put us on a bus to Jordan, I thought it was going to be like a year plus of like, I thought we were like political capital. They decided to like use us as political capital or something. So
you know what they really wouldn't like? A whole boat of anti-Zionists.
Or a lot spread out over all the boats.
Yeah.
Not on one boat.
Yeah.
I target the one. But
I did get a lot of messages from Jewish followers interested in going on the next flotilla. So I hope more of them do it.
So you said you've said, you know, a few times that you've raised millions of dollars for charity.
Tens of millions.
Really?
Tens of millions for charity.
And this charity is Chase your personal kicking?
I have a personal center, you know. No,
millions of dollars.
You run a daycare too?
Daycare. But yeah, so how do you feel about like big NGOs and how like instead of money going to people directly on the ground, it gets like held up for God knows how long, X amount of time. Now that you've done this for this long with millions of dollars being involved, what's your take on how the money should be used?
It really bothers me when people in similar spots as me, like people who do the same work and fashion themselves as philanthropists, like online philanthropists, are like fully doing it to enrich themselves. It's hard for me to wrap my head around it. So the recent controversy over that one creator is like it really upsets me, especially like I just told you guys about my financial situation. Like, and I wouldn't.
We get it. It's bad.
No, but it's like I could never imagine doing something, doing like
Do you think there's
earning the trust of tens of thousands
Yeah.
of people to give you their money to help in something so severe and horrible, and then
Do you think
take
there's enough?
$2 million for yourself?
Yeah,
Is
obviously.
I think one of the most evil thing, like, you know, it's hard to like weigh love.
But then
evil,
it's there's that, and then there's obviously the the organization
Yep.
involved,
Yep.
and I don't think it's just they're just a kind of a microcosm of something that has happened. They're not the only ones. Like it's happened before.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it's going to continue to happen. So my personal thought is like find people like for example, Hibbert, who gets the money directly on into the hands of people on the ground. It's not like through massive NGOs.
Yeah.
So is that how's
Yeah,
your
what is your
I think there's room for both.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of mutual aid and share it often on my
Yeah.
page. But I also raise money. Like the money that I raised was for the PCRF, which is
Sure.
large. But one of the things that I told them when I started fundraising for them, because I did not choose them lightly. I was very worried about like which charity to pick and stuff, and it took me a long time to pick them. One of the things I told them is like I want to be able to see what the money does, like specifically my money.
Yeah.
So after I got out of prison, they took me to Jordan and Egypt, where I saw the children from Gaza that my money helped evacuate. In both Jordan and Egypt, we threw a big party for over 100 children from Gaza. In fact, this little bracelet was made by one of the children that the PCRF saved the life of.
Wow.
And so, they also, in addition to doing that, they also showed me kind of their bigger picture stuff of like, you don't just evacuate someone to a new country and then they're fine, right? Like, so they have this big group of Palestinians from Gaza who have just gotten to Egypt and have no resources. So they're in charge of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think about it, it's tough to say negative things. Like I think they're probably sitting on some money, but like it's because it's not for nefarious reasons.
Yeah.
It's because like they have to have a plan for next month,
Mm-hmm.
But the same can't be said for other charities that we've been seeing be like Human Appeal was exposed that they're spending 41 cents on the dollar on actually helping people. I think they need to answer for that, and they haven't.
Right.
Interesting. So you don't agree that someone, if let's say I raise $1 million, I can't keep like 5% of it or 10% of it,
or at least get like not a salary, but like a fee because unfortunately we have bills, especially if you're if you're a creator, and let's say, for example,
I mean, obviously I don't agree that like, okay, let's say I raise $1 million, I'm not keeping 900,000, but like, and is there situations that people are using their influence to raise actual money and then also get paid for?
And
I think it's a gray area. Like I think there's room for argument, and we're seeing the Khaled Beydoun scandal is like what you get when you get absolute maximized greed in that situation. So if I had heard, like, I guess I like to like keep the stuff that I do pure. But if I had heard that this guy raised $2 million and was paid like $20,000 or something, like fine, whatever. But he like $2 million for himself is like that's more money than
they're saying that it went to like a center, and the center's
center
like
doesn't
the money
exist,
or the money never went there.
I didn't even do enough research on this, but
but yeah, so that's my question, is that like for example, if somebody has dedicated their life, they've ruined, like as you said, your financial situation is bad because you've had to cut ties with a lot of these businesses and stuff. So is there some kind of like grace where it's like if somebody gets X amount is where it's not too much?
Yeah, I wouldn't
like
judge
a fee.
I wouldn't judge a charity or an individual where it wasn't just like so grossly obvious that it was about enriching themselves and not helping people.
Right.
And so I think on a case
enriching yourself with a side of helping.
Right. Like on a
it needs to be the main entree.
Exactly. On a case by case basis, I think you can very quickly identify. Like I can't think of anyone else in this situation, but like I'm sure there probably are people who have made a little bit of money doing that and not a lot. Yeah. And as long as they've made a huge impact, I'm not gonna like. I think from what I understand from the Palestinian community, it was kind of hard to call this individual out because it's not comfortable like canceling someone who has a big
I was going to ask you that
and stuff like that. But I know that everyone involved who has like started the campaign to let people know that this guy is.
Is there any coming back? Is there like forgiveness? Is there like can somebody?
I don't think that I should be the judge of that as a
objective. Like I just think, can somebody really say apologize and still be welcomed into this.
I think
Yeah,
apologies on the level of mine, like I was brainwashed. I think you can take that any day. Like
yeah,
anyone who's or at least from my perspective, like we need everyone that we can get. But from a perspective of taking millions of dollars that the public thought were going to Gaza, but actually going to your wallet, that to me is unforgivable.
mm,
And I say I'm probably a little biased because like it like personally pisses me off. Because people, I've been called a scammer before. Like it's like
yeah,
because tons of people who do charity type stuff on social media are scammers, and it obviously really pisses me off when I'm
yeah.
called a scammer because I'm not. So
So like where the piece is doing good work, like it's
I
not.
love Where
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Peace.
Okay,
I think they're a great example of people who run a for-profit company, are transparent about it, and also do a ton of help in unique ways
yeah,
and make really cool merchandise.
yeah.
Like to me, that's like the litmus test of morality on that topic.
Amazing. Well, I appreciate you being so open about that. A little bit more fun. We can close on this. LA has the Olympics and the World Cup happening in the next, couple of years.
The World Cup
th-
is this year.
yeah, yeah, just like over the next couple of years, both of those things are going to happen. They're only fixing the trains and transportation in LA because of that, which is super embarrassing. But how do you feel about, again, Israel being included? Well, they disqualified themselves by not even qualifying for the World Cup, so that's kind of funny. But in terms of what you're seeing on the Olympics, they're included in the Winter Olympics. What's your take on that?
I think it's a stain on our society that Israel is allowed to compete in the Olympics,
Well, like
especially when
Russia is not. Yeah,
you've got Russia who are not allowed to compete.
Damn, really?
A Ukrainian athlete yesterday morning was just disqualified for just having stickers of like fellow countrymen who died in the war with Russia. And meanwhile, we have IDF soldiers who are allowed to be a part of the bobsledding competition.
just get a cute corgi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. And even stretching past the Olympics, like the NBA now has a Israeli IDF soldier named Denny Avia, and I'm a really big basketball fan.
what hurt? Hold on. You're gonna hurt his feelings if
Oh,
you go.
yeah, yeah, he has
My-
missed some time for hurt feelings. But I'm a really big basketball
Yeah.
fan. He has had, coincidentally, in the past 2.5 years, very parallel with when the genocide has been happening. Denny Avdia has had a meteoric rise to the point of from being
Yeah.
a below average player to now being an all-star with crazy statistics.
He got the All-Star nomination like 2 weeks after meeting Adam Silver.
Yeah. And as someone like I went to University of Michigan, studied sports management and wanted to work in an NBA front office.
You went to University of Michigan?
Yes.
Oh, me too.
Oh, cool.
From Michigan.
Go Blue. I
The New Jersey to the Michigan pipeline.
Yeah. I would bet my life. Like, okay,
It's rigged.
Jeremy Lin, to me, I've never seen such a meteoric rise in the NBA. Of all sports, it's the hardest to go from like a role player to a star. The Jeremy Lin thing was like a touch of magic.
Yeah.
Denny Avdia, he'll put up 28 points, and then you'll see an interview with his opponents after the game, who, quite frankly, I don't think care about Israel. And they're like, why did this guy just go off on you? And they're all answering referees, like all of them. And I can tell you as someone who's someone who, like, I genuinely consider myself like a basketball expert. I don't think he's good. I think he's clearly better at basketball than I am, and deserving to be a professional.
And what's funny is
that's the maximum I can say about him.
Not an all-star?
Not even close. He's also, the Blazers are like one of the worst teams. But I genuinely, like, now that we're finding out that all conspiracies are true,
oh, no, go ahead.
I really think there's some sort of scheme to make Denny Avdia as successful as he is. And if you see the pride in which Israelis and Zionists take his every performance, I just don't think it's a coincidence.
So you're saying he's trash?
I think he sucks, yeah.
Well,
frankly.
you know, it's
And-
a very high honor to get a tweet from Bibi. He got one.
Yep.
Charlie Kirk got one.
Yep.
And you know what happened to him.
Yep.
So what do you think? Like, you think he's like the savior or no?
You know, as a fan, I'm rooting for 2 torn ACLs and nothing more.
You like
No,
Kyrie?
I'm a peaceful
You
person.
like Kyrie Irving, don't you?
No comment.
I mean, you have Jaylen Brown wears the Palestine stuff. Kyrie Irving wears, I think, wear the peace.
Yeah.
Or wear the peace shirts sometimes, which is really
The
cool.
football player with the stop
Yeah.
genocide.
Yeah, that was really cool.
So there's
got fined for it.
there's the one guy that everyone talks about. People don't know that there's 2 on the Nets. There's 2 Israelis on the
Danny
Nets.
Wolf and
What about
yeah.
Steph Curry?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's Israeli by association.
he's spiritually
Yeah.
Israeli.
There's Danny Wolf and one guy that has a more Israeli name, but they're both even worse. They're
Yeah.
super bad. And
Yeah, I watched Danny Wolf play at Michigan, and I saw him pop into a stat sheet earlier this year, and I caught a game, and I was like, wait, he sucks. Like, how do you make the
Trash.
NBA? Like,
and then the Pistons destroyed the Nets, and that was very cathartic
Nice.
to see. So
Pistons
it was like a
Pistons are my second team.
it was like a 50-point
Let's go.
blowout. So we got some retribution there. I mean, the Pistons might go all the way. They might.
Really?
We'll see about that.
Not
So-
if Bibi has anything to do.
Yeah, he's make the call. Make the call. Pistons aren't winning, but yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to get off your chest?
I think like with like the Epstein files, everything is coming out. Everyone knows everyone can see on their phones what's been happening the past couple of years. All of that with ICE, the Epstein files, no one's able to do anything. Like
We have a
better political coalitions need to form. I feel like.
yeah. There's definitely a sense. I feel like we all feel a bit paralyzed right now. Like there's so much
Someone needs to bring it.
awful.
Are we going towards civil war? Yeah.
All I know is I'm not following Gavin Newsom as my leader and I really hope
presidential.
people's I like
What about AOC?
listen, AOC is not perfect on Palestine,
But
but
better-
that would be a huge win if she was president, in my opinion. Like I know she'll still get tons of criticism from the pro-Palestine community if she is the candidate, but that's like kind of the point. Like we want get on a field
At least
where
she's
she'll
actually
be open to it.
Yeah, exactly. And
Um,
instead of Kamala, she
right.
was ignoring every opportunity to win those voters and win the election.
And people are getting mad at me for saying bad things about Gavin Newsom, about Jasmine Crockett, about all these like moderate, really right-wing Democrats. And I don't know what to tell them. It's like I'm sorry. We have 2 years to figure this out. It's not tomorrow.
Mhm.
Why can't we just all agree that Gavin Newsom, despite having nice hair, should not be the president? Well, he won't win, but that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, well, Tommy Marcus, aka TG Mark, aka Quentin Quarantino. Why is there
The
so
best
many
movie director of our time?
Why is
one
there
more film or
One
no?
more film. One more.
Are you gonna hide it? Are you hiding Israel and the other all the directors?
I will say we didn't touch on this. His wife hates me.
Who's
Quentin
white?
Quarantino.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino.
Like
Tarantino.
I'm sure
I had to change my avatar because they did reach out saying that it's actually quite funny. They live in Tel Aviv, Quentyn, his wife, and their children, and Israelis were going up to Quentyn and his children and his wife and yelling at them about posting pro-Palestine stuff.
That's
And finally it hit a point where an Israeli was like very intense to one of the kids, and that was when I was like, okay, just like when it reached kids, I was like, okay, just tell me what you need me to do. Like, I do hate you, but I don't hate your child. Like, so they're like, it would be nice if you could change your avatar, and I changed it to say like not Tarantino on it. And I feature my face a lot. It's actually like quite. That's why I said it's funny. It's like
that's so funny.
I've learned how
Imagine
like
someone going up to him and be like, "Yo, I like what you said, man. It takes a lot of balls to be in Tel Aviv and call it a genocide."
Yeah, no. Quentyn recently said
thanks.
He was in the news recently saying he will die a Zionist. So I don't think we're.
What do they have on him?
It was the same thing they have on all of them.
About many feet worth of documents, I would guess.
Young feet, I would guess. Yeah.
Well, on that note,
thanks for watching. Watch all these episodes on Watermelon Plus. Straight to you. We're not afraid to talk about the issues.
yeah.
Unless
we don't put our foot in our own mouths here.
It's very
at
nice to
Habibi
be a
House.
platform an Israeli filmmaker.
Yeah. Thank you for coming through.
I finally got you.
I was like, wait, all the research is good. Wait, I got a couple more questions.
Yes. Well,
You think that controversy has helped your career more than pure craft, or would Quentin Tarantino still be Quentin Tarantino without it?
I don't even know, you know.
roll the credits. Roll the credits.
Yeah, correct.
Come on, guys, go subscribe to Watermelon Plus.
All right, yeah.
So that says Batir
Yeah, I don't even know.
Pictures.
Big t-shirts.
So Watermelon Pictures. So go to subscribe right now.
Yes. So we have to say another thank you to Tommy. We're gonna say thank you to Watermelon Pictures for being such a great partner. Go subscribe to Watermelon Plus to see this episode. And
If you have Netflix,
endorse
you
the
have Hulu,
subscription.
you have all these other things, you should have Watermelon Plus. Delete one of those, the one that you don't use.
You can do the watermelon
subscribe
first.
to my foot fetish website. And on that note, thank you guys. Appreciate you. All right, brother.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
You see that? I don't know if I saw that.
Oh, shit.